How's it going?
Hi, pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. It's nice to meet you.
Same here. I'm very excited and very honored to be here chatting with you today.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm especially excited because I grew up being a dancer. And so I'm really excited to hear about your company.
Thank you. Yeah, I was told that you also dance, so you would know everything about, dancewear and how it affects a dancer's, confidence level. So yeah, I love to chat.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I mainly wanted to focus on in this episode just kind of like your journey, what led you to dance, a little bit about your company.
Sure, yeah. Well, I also grew up dancing. My journey detour is I didn't go professional dancers route. I went to college, get an academic um, degree and went to corporate. And then I went back to dancing as an adult after that because the passion's always there. I've
Yeah.
never, not love it any single second of my life, even when I'm not dancing. I'm always in the audience watching ballet, watching dance. But I did went back as an adult, and everything changed when you are not a kid anymore. You're a lot
Yeah.
more self-conscious about what you wear. And I love the ballet training. I love the discipline. So that was like my primary focus, even when I was an adult going back. As an adult, like you have a lot more flexibility, but I still love the discipline. So I would go scout for like the proper leotard. I would be
Yeah.
still wearing my pink tights underneath, not over the leotard. Um, so that got me, into mending my own stuff and creating my own dancewear because I just couldn't find something that I feel good in it and I feel
Yeah.
flattered. And so I've always been like getting something and then I'm like, okay, I don't like how it fit. I don't like how it pinched me. I don't like how it looks on me. So I would be always like stitching things up, mending what I buy.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it just started from there. I didn't really plan for the business. I guess it just happened because I was in New York and I was doing the teachers workshop because at that time, I got really heavily invested. I danced a lot and I went to um, teaching on the side as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was taking the workshop class in New York City, and I've got so many people just come up to me and say, "Where do you get your new trial? Like, where do you get this? Where do you get that?" And it was like not just one incident, it was like many, many like
Mm-hmm.
incidents throughout the week I was there. So I went home and I go, oh my gosh, I'm flattered, but I was thinking, more on the technique side and more on my dancing, but everyone was like asking where I got my stuff,
Yeah.
where I got my leotard, where I got my skirts. So I came up with this crazy idea after chatting with my family. I'm like, I don't really like, I mean, I love teaching, I love the kids and everything, but I don't like um, the time I have to spend outside, because if when you're teaching, like you're spending the time with your students um, after your kids come home from school, like
Yeah.
how it is, because, classes starts after school. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm balancing that, my family, my own, mental health of like wanting to keep dancing and also wanting to do something that I love. So I still teach a little bit here and there, but I slow down a little bit and I refocus on to making dancewear. And I started just selling to friends and, model myself in the studio. And it grew from there. I guess it just all of a sudden took off. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's how it got started. It wasn't like intentional, I didn't really plan for it. But when I was like looking into what I want to make, what is the mission of what I want to do for AK Dancewear, it's always about comfort level first. I want the apparel to be comfortable. I want them to feel good, and don't have to constantly checking on themselves in the mirror. Because that's what
Yeah.
dancers do. I mean, we walk into a mirror and the first thing is like critique ourselves, like look at
Yeah.
ourselves and say, okay, I don't look good here. Or, I don't feel like I need to fix this. Or how we always like fixing things everywhere. And
Hmm.
I feel that, I want to create something that they don't have to do that. Like they would walk into the studio, they see themselves, even if they don't see themselves, they already feel good about it.
Yeah.
And that's how, we, successfully launch a brand that focus on the comfort, the fit versus, just, a design. So that's how it got started, and that's how we continue hold ground into it. And
Hmm.
about the design though, it's really about experience and how, things around us inspire us. I have you know, um, it's so funny because I have like multiple collections in my dancewear. Um,
Yeah.
and they actually all come from like an experience of my own, like one way or another. So, say the Rose Garden, we have a
Hmm.
big collection, and it was one of our first artistry collection, back in, I want to say 2021 or 2020 ish. But
Hmm.
it sparks me because an artist have the drawings of roses. And it's just like really pretty roses. And it reminds me of my trip with my mom um, to the Tyler Rose Garden in Texas. It's one of the biggest rose garden in the country, actually. And I remember, then that like we were so excited about seeing all the massive of roses, all the different species of roses in that place, in that one day that we were there. Um, and then remembering that they closed at 5 o'clock and that we had to, kind of sneak ourselves back into the entrance where we peeked through um, the roses at night. And because it was like we were there, during the fall-ish. And so I had the crazy idea to like, revamp the whole print into like a night bloom. So I had this day bloom where it is like, bright and beautiful, airy. And then I have the more subtle, night bloom color palette for the leotards, and we print it into
Hmm.
fabrics. And it was like very, very well taken. It's still timeless. Up until now, we're
Yeah.
still selling it, and people still love it. So it just sparks with like experience and just like what's around me. And
Hmm.
the new one that is coming is exactly the same too, because our new colorway that is coming out next month is the glacier. And it was also inspired by my trip to Alaska
Oh,
last summer.
wow.
I was there and I was like looking at, some of the ice that got melted down and the beautiful color of the ice and the water and the glacier. And it just sparked me to create something in that color palette. So that's how like we kind of work with our design, is like really inspired by personal experience and what was in my mind at that time, emotionally, rather than
Yeah.
doing research on like what is trending or what color is supposed to be hot in like what year. Because I feel like fashion is very subjective, and
Hmm.
what you perceive as beauty is also very subjective. And we want to create something that is timeless, that is like you can always come back to it. Like I don't want to have fashion overflow where, after a season, nobody wants it anymore. We always want to think about the longevity of the garment, of the apparel, because we don't want to create more waste than we already have, in the world. So that
Hmm.
that kind of mold our AK Dancewear like mission, and that's how we works around ourselves.
I love how there's just such a big focus throughout your whole story of just authenticity and just like going with the flow. Like everything has just kind of like came into your life and you're like, it wasn't on purpose. I just started doing what I like to do and it just happened. And I love that you've inspired so many of your designs off of nature and off of like personal experiences because that is really what is timeless because trends are so ever changing. Like one thing that's in one year is going to be completely out the next year. So I love that you've gone off of things that you're like, this is always going to be special. Like this is always going to be something people love.
I think so too. And a lot of it is like such a personal, emotional attachment to it that you know it's from an authentic person when
Hmm.
you talk to the person or um like a lot of the stuff that we create is so it's very personally attached as well.
Yeah.
So it gets into the whole like it kind of transfer also into like the whole community because I've started making I've started making new design that's named after dancers because
Oh, cool.
it got in, the inspiration come from them. Like I have one skirt that's coming up. It's named Kira. And and because there's this girl, there's this young dancer that I came to know at a competition in Tampa. It was the YGP finals, and she's the sweetest girl ever. And last year she asked if we can make her a costume, and she told us about the choreography and the feel of it, the vibes and everything, and we come up with a costume with a attached skirt. It was an asymmetrical skirt, and it was meant for her only, for her contemporary dance. So she competed at YGP finals last year in New York City with that costume. It was beautiful.
Wow.
And when we were looking into like what we can bring in this year as to like new skirt, because people are always asking for like new skirts as beautiful accessories to go over a leotard. I used that costumes idea as an inspiration and turned it into a skirt. And so I named the skirt after her.
That's
Um,
amazing.
Yeah, because it's a celebration of
Yeah.
her, and because of how the whole story came of she asking us to make the costume for her, and it sparks the whole inspiration of that costume, and eventually we have this skirt coming out this August. So it's all like it's a whole circle of like dancers, dancewear, and the whole community that comes around it. And
Yeah.
it gives a very personal feeling to it. When you have something, when you have a story to tell about your products. And
Yeah.
I haven't told her yet, actually. Like you should probably will know when we share the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I think she'll be like super excited seeing that we had some photo shoots going on, and I said, yeah, this is actually inspired from so and so's costume design. And I'm actually making another one because we also did one costume just a couple of months ago, and the print is just beautiful. And I'm just going to use the print and maybe elaborate into a whole new collection um, for next year or the year after. But that
Wow.
is that is how the whole thing kind of bring us together and bring us so close together as well.
Yeah, just very community based. I love that. So I
Oh,
want to talk a little bit about more about, you already touched on this a little bit, just body positivity in the dance space. Because yeah, naturally in dance, I don't know really what it is. Maybe it's just the focus on our bodies as a whole. We're so hyper aware of how we look when we're at dance. And so creating a kind of safe space for dancers, right, with your dance company, AK Dancewear, to make them feel like that's one thing that they don't have to worry about. They don't have to worry about what they look like. They can just worry about what they're doing. How do you feel like that has changed kind of the dance space?
I think first of all, we have to, firstly educate everyone that everyone can dance. Everybody is a dance body. Like you
Mhm.
want to move, you can dance. And it doesn't have to be, a specific idea. It doesn't have to be a specific way that has so long been ingrained in every child that ever go into a studio, wearing a tights and leotard. Um, we want to, make sure that they understand that, a body type is a body that can dance, and that dance makes them happy. then they should dance. Of course, like, we want them to feel comfortable going into the studio, not having to worry about checking on themselves, not having to worry about, oh my gosh, if I'm like wearing something too low cut and if I move, like, will I be exposed? Or, we don't want
Mm-hmm.
them to worry about those things. And that is the reason and the story behind creating the dancewear that is comfortable and supportive for them. And we actually goes all the way to double XL right now as, small, a brand and a company we are right now. We have dancers that are in their 40s, 50s come to us and say, we love your stuff because it gives us the support that, we haven't had for a long time. And a lot of adult dancers go back to ballet, for example, wearing t-shirts and tank tops because they feel more comfortable in that. But they
Mm-hmm.
otherwise, don't feel as fit in when they're not wearing the leotards that they want to, for their whole life. And we create that space for them. And also, I think most importantly is, the confidence part of them emotionally, like knowing that, they they feel good, like they feel like really supported just by wearing that and be associated with the people that also see them as who they are and
Yeah.
embrace that together. So we have a really amazing community where we bring in like artists from everywhere, and like everyone from all walks of life, adult dancers, the younger ones, the ones that is aspired to be the professional. We bring everyone together, connecting them. We want to act like a bridge for the space that is positive and also supportive. So that I think would help in a sense because there are so many negativity about like, like how you should be looked to be viewed as like, pretty or beautiful or
Yeah.
you having a ballet body. But that's no ballet body. That's only ballet person. Like if you love
Mm-hmm.
ballet, you want to do ballet. If you love hip hop and you want to do hip hop, that's nothing to stop you. Or,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be anything to restrict a person to do that. So that's I think a lot of it comes from, like trying to be so positive that the person that you're talking to and the person that you relate to, they also feel that positivity and the supportive and that it's translate to them as well. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that is contagious in a way. Is when you're
Yeah.
supportive to others, they come back to you, in a full circle.
Mm-hmm. And just the energy you bring too. Like anybody's going to be attracted to such a positive, amazing energy and like a great community, you know? So I'm sure all the artists you bring in, they're like, there are not a lot of spaces that are like this. Like, I love this. Any body is a dance body. Like anybody who wants to dance and has the desire to dance is a dancer. Like it does not matter what they look like and removing the stigma around it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so important because like that is what we I always like, even to the moms that bring their little kids come to, one of our workshops, you should dance too. Not just your daughter can have fun, you can have fun too. So
Yeah.
we try to create like different, type of workshop and also our artists are from like all walks of life as well. There are some that are professional dancers, there are some that quit dancing, but then always feel attached to it and continue teaching. We want everyone to kind of have like, a chance to support each other, no matter if you choose to be in this, industry for, professionally or recreationally. We want to make sure that, you are seen and you're heard and you're like, you know, very much welcome here in this space.
Yeah. So going to a little focus about your business, finding the balance with like business and being creative in your business, which you've found a very good way to do that. How have you found that balance of having your creativity in your business?
So honestly, like running a business is very, very time consuming.
Yeah, I
It takes a
bet.
lot of your energy, your time. It takes a lot of things, and I am still learning. I want to say continue learning, keep on pushing. I'm the type of person that, I realize that, what I'm offering right now at this moment is the best of my ability right now that I can offer. Like I always want to, go back to myself and say, calm down, it's okay. Like this is the best that you can do right now. But it doesn't mean that we can stop, here. The next day we are a better version of ourselves, and we gain one more day of experience, one more day of knowledge, and the continuing learning, experiencing everything, and gaining all the knowledge by talking to people. That helps in the sense. And I think, the creativity part, you just kind of have to let it flow in. Like, for me, it is what I see, what I experience. Like sometimes even like when I was like at a museum, or when I was like playing with my kids, they would show me some like really cool, like, computer games, or gaming. I have two sons, so they have their own little world that gadgets and games and
Yeah.
stuff. Even with that, like I can see creativity from that. Like I would be like, oh my gosh, like, this is so cool. Like maybe I can do this for, something, a product. I have that just because of, things that surround me. And then running the business is like you have to be like I have to know the numbers. I have to be like going back to like my inventory, my database. Okay, what do I need? What do I have to do to, be balancing my financials as well. So there
Mhm.
are a lot of things that, comes around with the business, where you just have to learn and master some of the things. When I first started, I don't know a lot about more than like 5 fabrics, but now I've known a lot more. And I continue to learn. I continue to, look at what the suppliers give me, and that way, that your knowledge can continue to grow, and that, that the creativity comes with it will also grow with your knowledge and your experience. So I feel like, if I am like trying too hard, I think that may backfire. So I try to
Mhm.
like tell myself to like just like take it um as it comes, and just like gain my experience and continue learning every day, every single second.
That's amazing. So I always talk about on the podcast, I always say that the world is your teacher, and as soon as you think you know everything is as soon as you stopped growing. And I love that the main focus in your business and just in your life, it sounds like, is to constantly be learning about the things around you so that you're constantly evolving. And where you're in that energy of like, whatever is meant for me will come to me, like the most amazing experiences and the most amazing collaborations have just kind of fallen to you and to your company. So I think that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I do. I'm a big advocate of like, never stop growing, never stop learning. Because anyone that you come encounter um, have something to teach you. Like they have something to offer. Be it like little or, enormous. Like there is something that you can learn from everyone. And I kind of embrace that everywhere I go. And I also like always like remind myself that there is more to learn, so never get comfortable. Like I want to make the most comfortable things ever from
Yeah.
the products that I offer, but I will tell myself to never get comfortable, because as soon as you're comfortable, you lack the energy to want to acquire more knowledge, to want to acquire more growth. So that is like super important, like running a business versus like being a person.
Yeah.
And I always feel like, like talking to you is like a learning opportunity for me, like totally.
Yeah, I love that. That's how I feel with all the guests on the podcast. I'm like, there's so many things I haven't experienced, so many lessons I haven't learned. I love learning from other people and learning how they accomplished what they did. So I really appreciate you sharing your story. This is the amazing Alina Khoo, everyone, also founder of AK Dancewear. We got so invested in the conversation. I didn't even mention that at the beginning.
So funny.
But
Yeah, because like we were just like jumping in and hi, like just like really excited that I'm talking to another, former dancer, and it just
yeah.
like goes from there. That's so funny.
No, seriously. And as a former dancer, I love that you've created such a positive community where dancers and parents and anyone can feel safe and feel welcome and feel like they're supposed to be there, you know? So I love what you're doing. I love the purpose behind your business, and I feel like it will continue to grow because it's so authentic.
Thank you so much. Like I
Of
really appreciate
course.
this.
Of course. So I'm going to kind of end the episode right here, but I'm going to link everything for AK Dancewear in the description of this episode so you guys can go check it out. Also, the community Instagram for AK Dancewear. I was looking at that yesterday and I love how just positive it is. It's just so uplifting. So I really would recommend everybody go look at the community page as well, even if you're not in dance. It's just an amazing space to look at.
Thank
And
you.
Alina, do you have any finishing messages you'd like to leave?
Just keep on dancing if you're dancing, and if you're not, keep on being the audience because dance makes everyone happy.
Well, I will see you guys next week.